All right, so let's talk about Lindsey Graham, the Republican from South Carolina. He's up for re-election in 2014, and his numbers have been absolutely tumbling, and we got the numbers for you. That's right. He was at 48% approval in February. That dipped to 44% in April, and it is now down to 37%. His approval rating amongst Republicans was at 72% in February, and it's at 45% now. I mean, that is a huge drop. Is this all shutdown Obamacare related? Maybe a little bit with Syria?
Opposite. It's more that the Republicans in his state are more like the Tim Price, his Senate colleague. They're further to the right than what they perceive Lindsey Graham.
Right. Well, that's what I mean. That he didn't go far enough.
Yeah, that he didn't go far enough.
Yeah.
And so isn't that amazing? So like we're talking about how the shutdown really hurt the Republican image in the country, and it's going to hurt Republicans. But they didn't get that lesson at all, and understandably so, because the lesson they're going to get from Lindsey Graham's number is next time I got to be more obstinate.
Yeah.
I got to be more obstructionist. I got to shut the government down for longer. I got to be more right wing, because if I'm perceived as not being right wing enough, I'm out of a job, because based on those numbers, Lindsey Graham ain't getting reelected.
And they bring the crazy, and we think Lindsey Graham is nuts, and we think that John Cornyn is nuts, and they're now talking about challenging John Cornyn from the right. Wow. And Mike Lee, to one glimmer of hope, is that the Utah Republicans are now thinking, whoa, I think this guy's a little too far, and they're trying to reform their primary system there, because the way it works is you get nominated at the convention there in Utah. It's arcane. That's why he beat Bob Bennett, who was a long-time sort of general conservative Republican there. He came out and he won there. Now they're saying, whoa, we let the cat too far out of the bag.
Yeah, but isn't that the thing? They did this once already with guys like Alan West in Florida a couple of years ago, who were completely bonkers on the right, and then he lost his next election because it's not sustainable. You could win one, maybe, but you're not going to win more than one.
It's harder for a senator than a real nut, a House member.
So let me ask this: if they get rid of Lindsey Graham and get someone even to the right of him, and if you're not that familiar with Lindsey Graham, he's mainly known as a warmonger. Right? Yeah. He's John McCain's best friend. Mm-hmm. There isn't a war that Lindsey Graham hasn't seen that he didn't want to make love to. Yeah. Okay, so he, I mean, on those issues, he couldn't be further right, and on almost every other issue, he's about almost as right as you can get. He once was against torture, right? Yeah. And so he's soft, Graham's
and he was
soft.
once against impeachment until he voted for impeachment.
Yeah, right. Until he voted for it, right? So if they bring in a right winger that's way to the right of Graham, and I don't know where that is, it might come back around to the left. I don't know. I mean, you've gone so far around the edge. Is there a chance that a Democrat wins in South Carolina?
It's going to be hard, because it's going to happen on the same day as Tim Scott's special election. They're going to be voting for 2 senators, I believe, in South Carolina on the same day. So, all of the right wingers are going to come out in South Carolina and vote certainly for Scott and presumably for whoever the Republican is. So they're not going to field 2 good Democrats, most likely, in that state.